Hi there, Bruce the Water Guy here. My director asked me to make a video for City Council to show some of the actions and consequences that happened to us, the wastewater treatment plant, during our significant flooding event that we had, which was equivalent to a 500-year flood from the catastrophic dam failure in the area. So let me take a closer look at the pump station and the area around here, and I thought it'd be a good chance to just show you what it is that we actually went through. This is the Moreland pump station, and the ground level here at the base of this can station underground is at the equivalent of the 100-year flood level. And you can see that the can is raised up above the ground, the vents are raised, the generator is raised, and all the associated electrical equipment are raised above the 100-year floodplain. Now let me show you what this looked like when we came out here with a boat in the middle of the flood. So if you notice in the picture on this electrical panel, the high water mark was actually up into the panel, and directly behind this blue thing is the transfer switch for the standby generator power, which again, the bottom of the generator with the high water mark was submerged in water also, and the can itself had been completely submerged underwater as it was multiple feet above the 100-year floodplain. We shut this station off at 2:30 in the morning, trying to gauge a safe evacuation for our personnel at the time, and trying to prevent the shorting of all the electrical equipment that would have been located in the generator and the transfer switch and the motor control center, to prevent shorting out and catastrophic failure of all of the equipment at the station. So when we were able to come out to this station after the water finally receded and we opened up this hatch just like this, the water was filled right up to the rim. Now this is what we call a can station. So we're gonna go down here and see exactly what are we talking about that removes the wastewater from this neighborhood, sending it to the treatment plant. So this station is about 25 feet underground, and it was completely flooded over. You can see that there's a little sump pump underneath here, a main electrical control panel with the starters and the electrical equipment for everything in the room, which includes 3 sewage pumps, 1 submersible and 2 pumps that are not submersible, and some level indication equipment, a telemetry panel to communicate back with the treatment plant, and we have a dehumidifier trying to keep the humidity down, a heater for the cooler months, and a blower system, air compressor for the bubbler to indicate the levels on how we control and run this system. Had we not depowered the panel that fed down to here, every bit of equipment that was connected to this panel down here would have shorted out and suffered a complete failure, meaning we would had to have rebuilt this station completely from the ground up. And instead, what we were able to do, once we got this 25 foot of water pumped out, it was a complete mess as it was very silted, but we were able to take the day, open up all of the electrical panels, and start cleaning the silt in the water and drying them out. These electric motors were able to be removed, and the windings in the motors are dried out, and then it is checked, megged as we say, to make sure that the continuity is there and that they are still reusable. And the submersible motor, again, wouldn't have suffered damage, but the electrical equipment that feeds it did suffer damage. And because we depowered this, instead of a complete rebuild and sourcing the equipment, which could have taken weeks, was able to be accomplished in a 24-hour time period, restoring this station back to service. Just a small pile of some of the electronics that needed to be replaced to place this back into service. This is the standby generator that runs the station, and obviously because of the catastrophic flooding, there was also widespread power outages. And because this had suffered flood damage also, even though it was elevated well above the 100-year floodplain, we had to change out the fuel and some of the oil in this generator to get it back to running. The decisions had been made to depower the equipment from a tabletop exercise for a catastrophic dam failure, what would happen. And this station happens to be adjacent to a stream, but you can see as we come closer to the stream here and the culvert under the road that the water level rose over 10 feet in this area. And at 2:30 in the morning, when we shut the station down, the official river prediction was still to rise another 6 feet from the official river gauge at that point, which just meant complete inundation. So the decision had been made months ago in the exercise to sacrifice a short-term outage instead of a catastrophic outage of the equipment taking weeks to rebuild, and instead being able to restart a system in 24 to 48 hours. Well, I hope you've gained a little more understanding of the decision process that we had to go through in making the very tough decision to shut down a pump station at the time serving an area. But you know, with it being completely inundated, what are you going to do? So it's either just let it run until everything destroys itself, hoping that the water doesn't reach that level, but you have every indication that it's going to go above and beyond. So the only responsible thing was to save as much money and time as possible, being able to restore service to the residents around us, which now this neighborhood is recovering quite nicely. So hey, check out some of my older videos and stuff. There's a lot of neat things that you may have missed, stuff that was happening during the flood, and things that we went through at the treatment plant. So Bruce the Water Guy on Facebook and Instagram. Please share and like my videos. This is Bruce the Water Guy. Have a nice day.